Hey, hey, hey. All right, this is National Sales Director Leah Lachlan, and welcome to my little mini series on how to effectively use your brain book. So today we're going to talk about tracking small daily wins. This is a tool in the brain book that you use one page per month. And so every month there's a new page to use, and it's sectioned off into 4 different weeks. So you're going to use one little section or rectangle per week. It looks like this. You guys can see that, I hope. Okay. So let me read you a quote that's on this page. And the quote is by Darren Hardy, and really have to credit him for teaching me this concept, starting with the book, The Compound Effect, and continued learning about this through his insane productivity webinar series that he does. Okay, so I had to give a little shout out to Darren because he's masterful at this, and it has really changed my life. And so here's the quote. It says, "The rhythm of daily action aligned with our goals creates momentum that separates dreamers from superachievers." And so here's what I think we do. We think success should be or is more complicated than it actually really is. Success is actually incredibly simple. Success in your business, success in your life, success in finances, success in anything you put your hands to can be incredibly simple. And the reason it's simple is that it's all traced back just to small daily choices. I'm not even talking about the big things. I'm talking about the super tiny, insignificant, seemingly insignificant, but seemingly insignificant, small, little, micro, baby steps in wins. And when we do them again and again and again and let them accumulate and do them with consistency, it accumulates to this massive success or win or transformation. And you look back and think, how did I get here? And usually it's just from those small choices. But here's where we get tripped up mentally is we think, surely it can't be that simple. Or I made this small choice today that was the right choice and the good choice, but nothing happened. So I must be doing something wrong. And that's where people often get tripped up, is that you'll have a successful day or a successful week or a successful month, and you can very well not see magic unfold in your life or business. And so it's making the right choices, but then making them consistently and letting the compound effect set in. You look at a mountain and think, how will I ever get up there? It seems daunting. It seems far away. It seems like hard work. Well, the only way to get to the top is look down at your feet and take the next small step in the right direction. Yeah, so it's got to be the next small step, and it's got to be the right step in the right direction. And you just do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you're at the top, and you look back and wonder how you got there. And then you remember it was just one little small step after another little small step after another little small step. So people who really get this, like who really get it, like who just wrap their hands around it and like squeeze it and live like this, they look like incredibly disciplined superachievers. And that's the myth of discipline. I think we can tend to fall into the thought that, oh, if I just had more discipline, or if I had as much discipline as he had or she had, then I could do this. Or, oh, I wish I had more discipline or willpower. Well, we really all have all that we need. And when you see really successful people or really disciplined people, all you're seeing is people who've trained a few healthy habits into their life. And you really only have to be disciplined enough for a certain period of time to let the habit kick in. And then once the habit kicks in, the habit makes the hard stuff easy. Because a habit, by definition, is just something that happens without really a lot of thought or energy or willpower. You didn't have to like willpower yourself to brush your teeth this morning. It's a habit. You get up, you go pee, you brush your teeth. You do that every morning. It's a habit. You do it without thinking about it. You do it with no energy, no effort, no willpower. Okay, so that's what we want to do with a couple of other choices in our life. We want to make them habits. And so this sheet helps you to identify those small baby choices that aren't currently a habit that you want to make a habit. And then you do them daily, you track them daily in an effort to create healthy habits. And healthy habits just naturally lead to a higher level of success in any part of your life that you want to create it in. So be encouraged. Be encouraged that you have everything you need to be successful. Success is actually shockingly simple. And it takes a lot, but yet it just takes a couple small choices every single day done with consistency. So I hope that's encouraging to you. And so you're going to identify anywhere from 1 to 2, really no more than 4 or 5 small daily wins in this season of life that are going to support your success the most. Okay, so 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, really no more than 5 small little choices. And so how do you pick them? Okay, so how do you know which ones are the right ones for you? You do want to connect them to your bigger goal and the bigger picture. And so remember, you kind of identify that by asking the question, what would have to happen by this date or this time frame for me to be able to say this was the best year ever, or the best? You can even break it down into smaller time frames if you want to. But you identify what would have to happen for you to be able to say this was the best year, month, quarter, 6 months ever. And then so you identify what that is, which different parts of the brain book help you to do that and help you to process through that. And then you decide, okay, so if I want that, what are some habits? What are some choices? What are some daily consistency activities that would get me closer to that? What's going to lead me to that? What kind of action is going to create progress towards that goal? And you identify 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, no more than 5 small daily choices or daily wins or key behaviors. You can call it a bunch of different things. And then you write these down and you track them over a period of time. Now, you would not choose something that's already a habit. Okay, let's say working out, for example. If that's already just a regular part of your routine, you don't really have to like make yourself do it. You're not really trying to find all kinds of creative distractions to avoid going to it or to avoid doing it. Like, it's just kind of your rhythm of your life. It's, yeah, sure, it may take some willpower or some planning and intention, but for the most part, it's just kind of a rhythm of how you live. Then you wouldn't necessarily put that down on tracking your small daily wins because it's already a habit. Quiet time, for example, if you're in the rhythm of waking up and having your miracle morning or your quiet time or your prayer time or your meditation time, and it's sort of just the air that you breathe and it's how you roll, and it's already a consistent rhythm or pattern or routine, then you wouldn't put that one down. Now, that's a significant part of moving towards your goal and your success, but if it's already a habit, it's already a habit. That's great. And so you want to think of things that aren't currently habits that would move you towards that goal. And that would include income-producing activities that create growth in your business, you guys, but it's also probably going to include lifestyle choices. For example, Um, going to bed at a certain time so you can get up at a certain time to be able to even do your miracle morning before you have to start the rest of your day. And when you start your day off right, that flows into everything else and impacts everything else you choose to do that day, and impacts your attitude and your energy level. And so it may not be an activity that's building your business directly, but it's a lifestyle choice that's creating the space, creating the energy, creating the focus for you to give the best of yourself to those other activities. Okay, so you're probably going to have a combination of activities that directly build your business. So for Mary Kay people, booking, coaching, selling, recruiting. And then you're going to have probably a few choices that are more lifestyle choices, but lifestyle choices that create the space for you to be the best version of yourself, to give the best to the goals that you have in your life and your business. Okay? So that's how you identify them. There is a page in the goal setting section that kind of gives you the space to process through this, where you actually do identify your small daily wins. Once you identify them, it's under step 4 in the goal setting section. Once you identify them, you take them, and then you put this on tracking your small daily wins page. Because if you don't track them, how do you know? You know? If there's no way to know that you're doing them or not doing them, then how do you know? Then you don't know what you don't know. So we've got to track them. You've got to get in the rhythm of really seeing what days am I doing this and what days am I not. Because we can't keep that information in our brain. That's almost impossible to track. Okay, so you write them down, and then you've got a Monday through Sunday to, what I do is I write yes or Y or N, like yes, I did it, no, I did not. I write that in that space. And then there's a section to write your goals. So there might be things you would only do maybe 5 days a week or 3 days a week. So not necessarily everything is going to be 7 days a week, and that's okay. And so you would identify how many days of the week that you're going to do whichever activity. And then when the week is over, you add it up. Okay, so you said you would do it 5 times. Well, how many did you actually do? And then you write achieved, yes or no. And then you write, Y or N or yes or no as to whether you did that activity on the number of days that you chose to. I'm looking at mine right now to see if there's any other things that I want to share about that. Okay, so let me shift to a little story that I actually learned in the book called The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg. And it's this incredibly fascinating, intriguing book of the power of your habits and how a habit is formed, how what happens in our brain when we have habits, and the chemical reaction and things that unfold. And he tells stories of just all kinds of people in different situations that really help to bring alive the power of a habit. And so there's a chapter about Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer. And they identified him as a person who really implemented the concept of getting small daily wins. And his coach taught him this at a very young age. He identified him with having the potential to be a professional or successful swimmer, but he was emotional. I think his parents were getting divorced at a younger age, and he had a swimmer's body and the strength to be a successful swimmer, but had not been mentally trained and was not mentally and emotionally tough to perform at the level that an Olympian would need to. And so the way that his coach trained him was to create small daily wins in his life and in his routine, and to create a structure and to live small daily wins. and to design a day that every choice he made was a win, and then another win, and then another win, and then another win. And not with the big stuff, you guys, no, with the small stuff, like what he ate and the calories he consumed, his warm up routine, his workout routines, even the music that he listened to before a race, even the timing of putting his suit on before a competition, his stretching routine was a win. The way he got up onto his swimming block before a race, it was all planned out to create this sense of victory. So that really every step he took, every choice he made was designed to be a win, and he was taught to view it as a win, which created an incredible sense of victory. Because can you imagine just going through your day, making choices and thinking, yes, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. Anything from getting up at the time that you wanted to doing whatever workout you plan to doing quiet time or prayer time that you plan to do, to listening to the audios or music that breathe life and energy into your spirit and soul, to eating the food that gives your body the most energy so you can give the best of yourself to your day and to your activities. I mean, you can literally design every little choice to be a win. And what a sense of victory that can give us. And so he was taught to do that, Michael Phelps was, so that the big win, the gold medals, they were just a natural extension of little small wins. Okay, so he wasn't getting those gold medals just in isolation. No, he lived victory. And then when it came to race time, that's how he rolls. He rolls just getting wins. And so that bigger win was just a natural extension of a lot of little small wins leading up to that. And it taught him to be really mentally tough to compete at the level that he did. Because what's the alternative to living like this? Like, if you're not creating a sense of victory in your choices and daily habits and small daily wins, the alternative that's real easy to sink into, you guys, is to fall into a sense of defeat, or a sense of feeling behind on your goal, or a sense of even comparing yourself to other people, looking around at what other people are doing and constantly comparing where you're at with where they're at, and feeling like you're off track, not feeling capable. Maybe going through a successful day, but if you don't train yourself to view it as wins, you may have a sense of failure, even if you did have a successful day. Okay, so pick the opposite of that. Pick and choose creating a sense of victory, because we can all do that. We can't wait for the big win to feel successful. That's a dangerous way to live. That only after you earn the gold medal, or earn the free car, or hit your next promotion, or increase your income, or get recognized on stage. If we wait till those big things to feel like a success, that is a sad way to live. But when you really adopt this mindset of getting small daily wins and living in victory every day, you can live with that sense of success on a daily basis, and not have to wait for the tangible rewards to live a victorious and successful life. Okay, so it's a whole paradigm shift to live like this and to create habits in this way. So continuing on about Michael Phelps, they believe he was the athlete that he is and was, not just because of his physical strength, but because of his mental toughness. And there was a race, I think it was back in 2013, or maybe, I don't know, I'd have to look it up. It was in Beijing, whenever the Olympics were there, and he was doing a race and dove in and had goggle failure. Okay, his goggles cracked, and immediately his goggles started filling with water, and he was basically swimming blind and couldn't see. But he had mentally rehearsed just about any possibility or any possible thing that could happen, and he was so well trained and had mapped out his entire race that every stroke was a win. I mean, he had it mapped out mentally. And so he's doing the race, he's swimming blind, water's filling up in his goggles, and he's coming to the end of the race. And he can hear the crowd cheering, in the stadium. But he didn't know if it was for him because he couldn't see, he couldn't use his peripheral vision to see where he was at against his competitors, which swimmers kind of rely on that. And so he counts his number of strokes, touches the wall, which he couldn't see. He was only reaching out in faith that he knew how many strokes it would take to get to that wall. He touches it, pops out of the water, takes his cap and goggles off, and looks at the scoreboard, and it says WR. He had not only won the gold medal, but had broken a world record while swimming blind at the Olympics. And his coach attributes this to the mental toughness that he trained himself in by living this concept of getting small daily wins. Isn't that cool? What a story. And so there you go. You guys identify 1 to 2 to 3, no more than 5 small choices that you can make every day that are going to create healthy habits that are going to allow you to grow in your discipline and success and allow you to create a sense of victory. And then you do them for at least 90 days, you guys, if not more, but at least 90 days. And then after 90 days, you reevaluate. And that's why the brain book is designed in quarters, is that you would kind of live in 90-day cycles where you have your plan, you work your plan for 90 days. And then after that 90 days is over, you redo the goal setting section again to reevaluate where you're at and what's happened, what's not happened, and where your numbers at. And then you create a new plan. And my guess is that some maybe small daily wins will stick around in your next 90-day cycle. And then you might add some new ones because you've mastered some of these small daily wins and they've really become a habit. Okay, but you've got to at least give it a 90-day push to allow that habit to set in. Okay, a couple more comments here as I wrap up. Common pitfalls is that the wins that you identify are not specific enough. Okay, so there can be like no vagueness about them. There's got to be a really clear plan. For example, maybe follow up with customers might be like a daily goal that you have to grow your customer base. Well, get more specific than that. Like how many calls are you going to make? How are you going to follow up? What script are you going to use? You've got to really hone in on the specific details of that, because here's what happens when you don't. When you don't, you wake up, you look at your small daily win, and if there's any vagueness or if there are multiple decisions that need to be made to actually do that activity, the chances of you doing it decreases a whole lot because it's too many decisions or too many steps or too many uncertainties. And any vagueness can lead to you just dismissing it or finding creative distractions to not do it. Okay, so you got to get real specific. Another common pitfall is that it's not small enough and that you're really kind of setting yourself up for failure because you're creating big daily wins. And that's not the concept. The concept is small, like micro baby steps, not big, huge, giant leaps, because we don't have the capacity for that. We do have the capacity to take the next step. We don't have the capacity to climb the mountain today. You can take the next step today, but you can't scale the entire mountain. And so you got to just make sure they're small enough. I mean, you have to wake up and look at your list or look at your designed out day with your small daily wins plugged in and think, I can do this. I can do this. I have the capacity to do this. And I've designed my day to fit these things in. If it creates any sense of like it feels daunting to do these, then they're not small enough. Okay, that's a big pitfall or big thing that trips people up is it's these huge things that you just don't have the capacity for, or at least on a daily basis. Um, you can't change anything in your life until you change what you do daily. And your success in life is directly connected to your daily choices and your daily routine. So I hope and pray that this tool supports you to rock out your days and your weeks. All right, see you on the